Okay, so we're going to make a graph for your parent-teacher conferences. To do that, we need to go under the green X. Yours might just be an X. It might look like this. Either way, it's Excel. When I click it, it's going to open another file, but we don't need that. You're just going to open up a new document. And after you're in there, so up and down is columns, just like the pillars in front of a house. Side to side is rows. So depending on the version of Excel, it does this a little bit differently. But basically, I'm going to put all of my grades in that have a letter grade, or a number grade, number, letter, both. So I'm just going to put in a few as examples. And what else do we have? Science, history, and that's enough for now. You get the idea. In the column next to it, I'm going to put in the number. Not the letter, because can you count to A for me? No, you can't. Can you count to B? Can you count to D? Can you count to C? You can't count to those. So if I try to graph this, Excel's going to say, wait, what? That doesn't work. You can't count to those numbers, and therefore it can't graph them. So if I tried this, I'm going to get a whole lot of nothing. So instead of putting the letter in, I need the number. So we'll put in like a 97, 88, 67, yikes, 88, and a 99, great in history. So after that, I have to highlight the information that I want to include. So I start at the top, and I drag all the way down, and then I'm going to go to Insert. I can either try it up here, or I can go to the ribbon. I'm going to go to the ribbon Insert, and I should have the charts here. If yours doesn't show up, that's okay. Chances are you have your screen minimized a little bit. So if I have Excel like pulled over here, you notice how all these icons are not going to fit up there. So it's going to have to start cropping some of them out. So if you can't see it, it might just be because it's shrunk down. Try dragging it out, filling up the entire screen, and then again, make sure you're in that insert ribbon. If it doesn't work, you can go to insert, I believe it's charts. Where are we at? Insert chart. And I would want probably a column chart. Columns go up and down. So that's one way to do it. And then the other way is to go to insert, and I can just select the correct one from here. So I'll select. Now there are a couple things wrong with my chart that you would lose credit for if you handed in this chart. For one, I can't get 120%, and it looks like my grades are pretty poor because it has the chart going all the way up to 120%. So that's the first thing I'm going to fix. I'm going to double click on the numbers. So if there's a problem with my chart, I want to change something with my chart, I click on what I want to change. So I'm going to double click, and when that happens, we get this on the side, and it says minimum or maximum 120. I'm going to change my maximum to 100. What if I have 102% in spelling? Still make it 100, because otherwise it's going to make that chart a little taller, and all your other grades are going to look worse. We want this to look accurate, so I'm going to put 100. The other problem is sometimes automatically, if you have a whole bunch of high grades, it might do something like this. And it might graph, so my minimum is way down here. My minimum is an 80 instead of a 0. So the problem with this is it shows the difference in my grades really well, but this is a distorted graph because it looks like I have less than a 50% in math. Math is less than halfway to the top. So again, if that's a problem with my numbers, I'm going to click on my numbers, and I'm going to make sure my minimum should be at 0, my maximum should be at 100. Now my grades look pretty decent, minus English, so that looks good. The other thing is you should never have something with a default chart title. So I'm going to change my chart title. If I want to change it, I change it by clicking on it. And I'm going to click again, and I'm going to change this to something that says like Mr. Anand's grades graphed or something like that. Or you could put my grades or anything like that. So this is all you have to have. If you want to get fancy, you can do something like you can vary it by color, add data labels. So if I hit add data labels, it's going to stick the number above, so I know exactly where it's at. I don't just have to guess based on the numbers here. That's probably going to be the majority of what you're going to want to do. Again, if we wanted to fill it and we wanted to vary it by color, I could click this over on this side. Since I have the bar highlighted here, I could change one individual by clicking on it again. So let me show you that again. If I click on one of the bars, all of my bars are highlighted. But if I click a second time, now just English is highlighted. So maybe if this is where I want my goal to be, maybe I want to change my English color to be like, I don't know, that's kind of a brown grade, isn't it? We'll make that English brown. Yikes. Or if I click on it, I can go to my fill bucket again, and I can click vary colors by point. That way, each one is going to change colors depending on the number or how high it is. Notice that 99 and 97, those two numbers are pretty close together. They're both blue, but the 88s are the exact same and they're different colors. So basically, it's just going to vary the colors. So after you're done with that, we're almost done here. We could click on this and click Command-C, and that copies it. And then when I go into PowerPoint, it's going to pull up one of my, okay, we're going to go into New Presentation. And so then I can just hit Command-V. So it takes whatever's in my clipboard and it puts it in here. The cool thing about doing this in Excel and PowerPoint, check this out. Let's say I put in my grades, but I get an update with my grade, and my English isn't a 67 anymore, it's an 87. Watch what happens to this gray bar. I just typed in 87 here. Watch what happens to the gray bar when I hit Enter. Magic, it changes. And so it automatically adjusts to whatever is typed in here. Even better than that, since Excel and PowerPoint are linked, this bar also changed, and so now it is an 87. Sweet! Very cool, right? Last thing I'm going to show you, if for some weird reason you decided to do this in Google Slides instead of PowerPoint, Slides isn't as cool. You can't do as much with it. We're going to open this up, and we're going to go to Slides, File, New Window. Google Slides. There's two things you can do with this. One, you can download your existing slide and then open it up with PowerPoint, so you can still make it into a PowerPoint file. And the other thing you can do is you can make your graph into a picture file. It's going to be a little lower quality, but if you make it into a picture, then you just import the picture into Google Slides. So my internet at home is pitiful right now, so I don't know that I can show you, but I am going to talk you through one more time. You can either, I believe it's File Download, and you would download the PDF. Okay. You can download the PowerPoint, not PDF. You can download, yes, another one. Thank you. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Yes, Brooks, you may watch another one. Joy of working from home. You could go to File, and you could, I think it's Download and then Save PowerPoint, and it'll go into your Downloads folder. You can open it as a PowerPoint and file save the PowerPoint as something new, and then you can link it up like I just showed you. The other thing is I can hold down Shift, Command, and the number 4. I get the crosshairs. I snap a picture of this. It is now a picture file. Right there. Now it's a picture file. When I do that, it's going to save to my desktop right here. I can rename it my grades, my GERDs. I've got an F in spelling too. And now I can take this and I can upload this or even drag it into my Google Slides. So if you have problems, feel free to ask your classmates, because I believe this is something that we can probably work through. Don't just give up. Otherwise, you can always ask me when I'm back. That is how to get your grades into your parent-teacher conference file. And now I'm going to stop the video as soon as I figure out that